the moments where I started to deliver it professionally, I got to, at the end of the speech, teachers used to ask me, are you a fellow teacher? Are you a psychologist? Are you what? Because they were really amazed by how I used to perform. I used to deliver it because it comes from my heart. So yeah, I did have those doubtful moments, but I believed in myself, because if you truly don't believe in yourself, if you don't step out, the rest of the world will also not believe in you.
True.
So you have to believe in yourself and go for that opportunity. Begin at that step. It doesn't matter you don't have any vast knowledge about it. All matters is the skill that is in you and the strength that makes you stand out in a crowd.
Welcome to yet another episode of The Millionaire Mind. My name is Turi Faye, and joining us today we have Lillian. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
I'm very good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for availing yourself to talk to us, especially when it comes to careers and growth and just significant movement, because sometimes we feel very stuck.
True.
And it seems like you've specialized in this very specialized niche of what people would like to do going forward, and to feel like they're moving forward with their careers. But before we get ahead of ourselves, please introduce yourself and then what exactly that you do.
Okay, so thank you. First, I'm happy and humbled to be here. My name is Lillian Gathigia. I am the founder of Glow Mustard Talk, and I serve as a career development coach. So this is all about helping an individual discover his or her potential. So we go a step further, because discovering a potential is something and getting to unleash it is another thing. So we help this particular individual to unleash his potential, and then we also walk the journey, the career journey with him or her, because in every career there is always a challenge. You cannot evade from challenges. So we help this particular individual to how to go about the challenges that come by, and also now after the challenges, after this individual has been able to maneuver through the challenges, we have the success phase. That is where fame, money, awards begin to stream in. So we have to help this individual how to go about that success phase, so that we do not have cases where we have seen individuals where at the top, but within 2 or 3 years they come crumbling down. So we have to make sure that this individual not only is successful, but he becomes, he is able to maintain the relevance of his career in the industry. So apart from helping individuals discover their potential, we help organizations to acquire the right talent, because you can find a case where we have an organization is seeking to fill a vacancy, but they get to bring in a talent that is not supposed to be there. So we help these companies to acquire the right talent, and also we help the employees to be able to have a conducive environment so that they can be able to work as a team.
Awesome. But how exactly did you find yourself in this position, in a position where you're helping individuals and companies just have a cohesive work environment? How did that play out for you?
So this began roughly about 5 years ago, and it's quite interesting, because if you told me about 10 years ago that I would be in such a space, even my classmates from high school couldn't believe you, because it's something that I feared so much, because it entails going to the public, dealing with people. At times we'll have to deal with large groups of people, yet I was that shy and quiet girl. I never used to speak in public. Even in class I never used to raise my hand. So I came to realize about this potential that I have towards the end of my campus period, that is late 2018, and that is when I said that this is a do or die decision. I have to unleash my potential now that I know I have a special gift in dealing with people in the service industry, to coach them. So I started early 2019, and because I was so new to this industry, I didn't know anyone. I had to start from scratch, and you know, starting from scratch, I had to do a lot of voluntary work. And in campus, I was in Nairobi, but also you have now to count that being green, I don't know anyone whom I can approach to so that I can be able to talk to their audience.
True.
So I made a decision to go back home where I grew up in Nyandarua County. So at least there I knew some of the schools. I approached them, and I was privileged to get at least 8 schools within 1 month on a voluntary basis. So that is where I started to build my foundation, and slowly by slowly, I am glad for the far that I have come. And as I began like a general coach. Stress management, discipline, self-awareness. I just wanted to talk to people. I had not yet known that my special gap that I'm supposed to fill is in the career sector. So 4 years into it, that's when now I was able to know majorly that I am supposed to be in the career industry as a career coach, and now that is what I am serving currently with the name Glow Mastered Talk.
Okay, awesome. And mostly when you mention Glow Mastered Talks and the services that you provide for other people, what comes to mind is working individuals, because you're talking about growth in your career. But now you've talked about approaching people in high school. So who exactly is your target audience? Is it, you know, people in high school who want to know what their potential is, or is it people in corporate or whatever form of business who are stuck and are wondering, I feel like I've been in this position, in this company for 4 years now, and I feel like I need to move, but I do not know how to. Who exactly do you target and why?
Okay. Just to go a bit about how I began, that is 2019. That time, I just used to feel I want to be in a platform where I have an audience that I am addressing. I didn't know specifically what, but I just felt that I need to talk to people. So that is when I will talk just any topic, as long as I'm creating an impact through my talk, that was enough for me. But years down, that is last year, that is when I was able to identify that my target audience specifically, it doesn't matter the age, from as young as 5 years, because there are kids who are able to identify what their potential is as young as 5 years. So my target audience is any individual who wants to discover their potential. They want to know what is it that I am best in. So it doesn't matter if it is a kid, if it is a teenager, if it is someone who is in campus. We also have corporate people in the corporate world. Maybe they are stuck in their careers. Maybe someone feels they want to make a career change. So that is my target audience. Anyone who feels that, oh no, this career is so exhausting, it causes burnout, I'm not able to maneuver through, what am I supposed to do? So that is my target audience. It's not about relationships, it's not about love, it's not about mental health, no. It's strictly about career, what your potential is and how you're supposed to go about it. Yeah.
And that has actually stood out for me, because I realized with most people in your industry or your sector of the industry, I feel like the most catchy or audience specific type of content that they put out is relationships in the workplace. It's very controversial topics. So for you to now say, I'm strictly sticking to this specific, we're working on your career and nothing else beyond that. Did you feel like you were being limited, or did you feel like, you know, my other peers are doing all of these things, and especially factoring in social media, anyone who puts out their content and it's controversial and it's fun and it's catchy, obviously they're trending, obviously they're, you know, they have some headway. So did you feel like you sticking to strictly, let's talk about your career and how we're going to get you out of this specific rut you're in, did you feel like that was holding you back?
Something that I want to mention is, once you know your potential, it doesn't matter whatever it is. There is no limitation about how to go about it, and that is holistically. Every potential, you can create something big out of it. Is not going to help you in any way. So after I offer the quality services, that's when the results come after some time, and when they are happy with the results, they get to make a referral to someone else. So I am able to get the clients, from those clients and from those who do referrals, and also from the social media platform. Yeah.
And at the beginning of our conversation, you had mentioned how you were very soft-spoken, you know, through high school, through campus,
Yeah.
you're very quiet, and then here you are getting into a career that forces you to be in social spaces and talking to everyone. How hard of an adjustment was that for you?
Wow, it was so hard.
Yeah.
It was so hard. But something very, I don't know what word to use, but something very good when it comes to a potential. You know, a potential, it's not someone who puts it in you. It's not you yourself who puts it in you. It's God who puts it in you. So no one else is able to snatch it away from you. So from the moment you realize that this is your potential, that there is always that drive to make you grab that opportunity that comes by, any opportunity. So I remember I mentioned that I discovered my potential in late 2018, and I remember asking one good friend of mine, how do I go about it? And he's the one who gave me the idea of doing voluntary talks. So approaching schools, that is early 2019, I remember doing my first talk. It was in a primary school back in my village. And I had so much fear, so much fear. But the drive in me could not make me postpone that talk. I had the opportunity to say, no, I won't go or anything, but I didn't. I went ahead, even with my fears, with my flaws. I was supposed to talk to class 8 students who were to sit for their KCSE examinations later in the year. So you can imagine I was given 2 hours to address them, to motivate them. These are students who are supposed to deliver good results. So there is so much expectations
and
from
pressure,
me. Yeah. There is a lot of expectations from the head teacher, from the students. But with the points that I had prepared, they were the basic points that we were used to being given in high school. So they were the same. I applied and I went and did my presentation to the class 8 students, and within 30 minutes I was done because I didn't know how to go about it. I was just like basically reading out a point, saying a few words about it, and I'm done. I go to the next point. I didn't engage students. You know, like how a professional speaker lands on stage and you can just
presence.
and you can know that this is a speaker. We are going to expect a huge presentation from him, asking questions, activities. I didn't know anything. Remember, this is my first ever presentation, and I hadn't engaged anyone, any public speaker, on how to go about it. So it was just from my own capacity. So it requires one to take that first step, even amidst your fears, amidst your flaws. Just do it, because 2 years, 3 years later, you will look back and you will be proud of yourself that you did that first step. Yeah.
And you've been doing this to now close to 5 years.
Yeah.
What would you say is something or a few moments that have really stood out for you, or just confirmation that you were doing what you're supposed to do? Because I feel sometimes when you're pursuing your career or pursuing a passion project, you have very many doubts and very many things that come along your way, and you're like, maybe I should just go get a corporate job and stop pursuing this. But what are the few instances that have stood out for you and confirmed that you are actually doing what you're supposed to be doing?
Yeah. So first to mention is that, yes, I did have some of those doubtful moments. Is this really me? Is this what I am supposed to do? And even I remember sometimes going for those talks. I'm at in the middle of the journey to where I'm supposed to deliver that speech, but I'm like, is it really what I'm supposed to do? Is it really this? So I remember, but at the end I used to go and deliver that speech, and I remember the moments where I started to deliver it professionally. I got to, at the end of the speech, teachers used to ask me, are you a fellow teacher? Are you a psychologist? Are you what? Because they were really amazed by how I used to perform. I used to deliver it because it comes from my heart. So yeah, I did have those doubtful moments, but I believed in myself, because if you truly don't believe in yourself, if you don't step out, the rest of the world will also not believe in you.
True.
So you have to believe in yourself and go for that opportunity. Begin at that step. It doesn't matter, you don't have any vast knowledge about it. all matters is the skill that is in you and the strength that makes you stand out in a crowd. Use it so that you can be able to unleash yourself to the world. Yeah.
There's something you say, you've said that I feel plagues a lot of young people, especially when you're very new to the working industry, where you've just completed school and you now want experience. You know, yes, you want to have a job, but you still want to have that first-hand experience so that you know what the industry is like, you know what you're getting into. But at some point, you're going to stop doing the free work and the voluntary service and the interning. How is that transition? How would you advise somebody who's just come out of school? What is the timeline that you're supposed to do this voluntary work before you eventually start charging for your services?
So for the new people who want now to start charging people for the services or the products that they offer, first you have to make sure that you have gone through that phase where you have learned that this is how it is done, so that when you are going to charge someone, it's not a poor product, it's not a poor service, low quality service.
You're good at what you're doing.
Yeah, you are good at what you are doing. So you have to make sure there is no specific timeline as to when you should start charging people. But you should make sure by the time you start charging people, you know what you are doing. So for example, in my situation, I couldn't go charging 3,000 shillings or 5,000 shillings to my first primary school that I visited. I knew myself, I knew I couldn't deliver what the quality services that a mentor is supposed to deliver. So afterwards, for me, it took about 1.5 years before now I started approaching people in a way that I can be able to charge the services according to the market, to the job market. Yeah. So I had to bring in the skills, learn from other speakers. I had to attend events as well to see how other speakers are doing it. And also in attending those events, I used to grab every opportunity. I would go and tell the MC, can you please give me 5 minutes to also say something to the people? Through that, I was able now to continue grasping the skills that are required. So also, as you try now to make your way out there before you start charging people, make sure you attend similar activities that are being done in relation to your career. For example, if it's someone who wants to become a musician, attend other concerts where we have other artists performing. Ask for 5 minutes to perform your song. That is how now they'll get also to recognize you. So from then on, when people have recognized what you do, from when they have recognized your services, your products, now you can start now charging your products or services.
And still on the same topic, you have talked about how you work with professionals who seem like they're stuck, who feel that they're stuck in a specific career for a long time. How do you go about, you know, getting them out of that situation? Because sometimes time passes by. Like I think before the show you did mention how the year is going so quick. We're now 3 months in, and you're like, oh, what do I have to show for it? So how do you advise somebody who's been stuck in a profession for a hot minute and they feel like, yes, there's room for growth. Yes, I can get elevated. I can ask for a promotion. I can ask for a salary raise, but I don't know how to go about it because there's always the aspect of, am I stepping beyond my bounds? Will I step on toes if I do this? How do you talk to professionals in such situations?
Okay. So here we have 2 different situations. One, it's someone who is employed and someone else who is in the self-employment sector. So we start with someone who is employed in the job market. He or she feels stuck. And something that I'd love to note, you see, when someone is employed, on that day or the first week, there are the roles and responsibilities that he is handled and told, this is what you will be doing. So we have a very, very good employees who stick to that very faithfully from January to December. They are there in the workplace, very punctual, but they are just doing what they were given. I'm not saying they shouldn't do that, but they are just basically doing those roles and responsibilities. I always encourage employees, go a further step. It's not only about doing that duty. Find out the gap in the market that your company needs to address. come up with ideas, say something that has ever helped you in your own capacity level, that you can make it applied in your workplace. So you have to make sure that you go a step further.
True.
Because if you're not bringing any ideas on board, if you're not participating in the work meetings, if you are not working on projects, how will you expect a pay raise? How will you expect a promotion? A good employer will see that this particular employer has, employee. This particular employee has been able to bring an idea on board. He's making sure that it is something that we can work on, something that can bring results. And if it bring results, I always say a good employee will reward his a good employer will reward his employee. So it's not the normal way of delivering your duties and responsibilities as an employee. If you feel stuck, get to find how you can identify a gap and the solution that you can fill. And also, that challenge is something else that you can first take a break and ask yourself, am I really in the right career? Because for most people who feel stuck in their employment places, you find these people, it's hard to identify a gap. They don't know anything about the roles and responsibilities that they are supposed to offer. When they came for the interview, maybe with the papers that they used to graduate with, you find that that course that they took in the university or in the college, they took it based on the wrong concept. So you find that this particular person went to college, went to university to study something that defies the strength. Yes, they have finished the university education, they have been able to graduate, they have the papers with them, they have attended the interview. But what they have in their papers is not really them. It's not what lies in their strength. So you have to ask yourself, is what I studied in the university match my potential, match my strength?
True.
So that you can be able to know. And I always say it's not late to start something new that aligns with your strength or your potential. When you have realized where your potential lies, even if it differs from what you studied in the university or what you studied in college, you always have an opportunity, even if you have to start from scratch, maybe with a certificate, a diploma, just go for it, as long as it matches your potential. So that will prevent you from feeling stuck in your place of employment. When it comes to the self-employed people, sometimes you find that their priorities are misplaced. Maybe you are thinking of starting big, and especially if you have to start from scratch. You have to start with the baby steps, as we call them. Start slowly so that by the time you get to the top, you will have gone through all that journey. You know what it takes. Because when you start largely, you'll get to the middle of it, but you don't have the financial resources that are required and any other resource that is required to give to keep your company or your organization growing. So let us not make unrealistic goals and strategies. We have to start small so that we can be able to head to the top.
Awesome. And what would you say are some of the challenges you've experienced so far in the industry? Because it's quite niche. A lot of people sometimes feel the need to pursue it because it's quick money. I can get quick money out of this without necessarily having an educational background about it. Some people, just because I'm an extrovert and I can talk in front of people, feel the need to get into what you're doing without the professional side to back it up. So what would you say are the challenges you've experienced so far, more specifically as a woman in business?
One of the main challenges that I have experienced is the presence of a mentor. Because especially for someone who is starting from scratch, you need someone to hold your hand. And it's not just any mentor, it's a mentor of the same field. So in my case, I need a mentor in the same field, career coaching, and to get someone who will help you in every step, to tell you the do's and don'ts, to tell you that this is how you're supposed to go with this particular audience. It has been a very huge task for me to get someone who can hold my hand. So that has been one of the challenges when it comes to maneuvering through as a career coach. And then the other kind of a challenge that I have experienced, of course, is you know, as a newbie, you have to keep on approaching potential clients so that you can get a clientele base that will help you to keep moving. So getting these clients has been an uphill task in considering that this is something that I had never practiced there before. So when you get to approach these potential clients, you have to convince them that yes, I can deliver. Yes, I know I hadn't been doing it in the past, but yes, I can deliver. These are my services. I also deliver them my, I also give them my profile to go through it. I also help them to get access to my social media platform so that they can see this is not something that I just started yesterday. It's something that I have been doing, I have been creating awareness. It's something that I am passionate about. So those are the main challenges that I have been going through as a career coach. And also I have noticed from those challenges there is a gap that I can feel in the job market. And I hope it's something that I'm working on. So I hope in a few months' time it is going to be out here.
Okay. And what would you say as a parting shot to somebody who's watching us right now and feels stuck or doesn't know where to start? What words of advice or encouragement would you have for them?
Nice. So I always say there is something for everyone. I have come across people who say that they truly believe they don't have anything unique them. Their work is just to be employed, go to, I'm not saying employment is bad, but they're just there to push others to success. They don't have anything unique in them. So I always say there is something in everyone, and if you want to know what is unique inside you, there are particular questions that you need to ask yourself. For example, you can ask yourself, what do you love doing? What is it that you can do effortlessly? What is that activity that you see other people doing and it lights up your heart? So you have to ask yourself several questions. As career counselors, we have those sets of questions, and it is good to note that one or two questions cannot determine where your potential lies. We have to guide you through all the questions so that from the answers that you will give us, we shall be able to identify and analyze where your strength lies. So don't be there at home or at work or wherever you are and say that there is nothing unique in you. There is something. And if you find it hard to discover it, always approach a counselor, a career counselor, because we are many of us out here, and we can always guide you to discover where your potential lies.
And where can people find you on social media, or do you have a physical location?
Okay, on social media platforms, I go by the name Gathigia the Speaker. That is Facebook and LinkedIn. And then for the physical platforms, once you make a call, we have an office in CBD town where you can come and we give you a session. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you, the audience, have learned a thing or two about your careers, or just how you feel about where your space, the space in your career you're occupying right now, and how you can elevate and how you can be better. My name is Turife, and I'll see you next week.